Hi guys, welcome back to my next part of the vlog. This part of the vlog is the 1988 World Championships, which was held on the Damme Canal in Belgium. Now, it's strange how, sometimes fate does things to you. Because this was the year the FIPS, the World Governing Body, decided to change the ruling. What they decided to do was the team and individual results would be decided over the 2 days. In other words, accumulating the points over the 2-day event. Now, up until now, the team would be fished on the first day and the individual match the second day. Now, the frustrating thing about this, of course, that decision is that I could have been twice world champion. But there you are, as I said, it's all fortuitous sometimes fishing. Anyway, it was during this practice sessions on the canal, we took the team decided to go in group, which was good, nice and early. Because obviously after last year's performance, the lads coming 14th, and of course, and me winning, they thought, well, let's have a chance, and I believe we also took a couple of new members as well. But it was during the practice that I met that great Dutch angler, Van Schendel. Now, he was also practicing on the venue, and anyway, what we learned about bream fishing from him really was invaluable for the future, especially bloodworm. Now, we thought we had it right when we used the blade, as I mentioned before. But they actually, they showed us a device which was really a huge nylon mesh, which was basically quite big, and it was on a obviously firm, metal pole. And anyway, they could gather bloodworm a lot quicker than we could on our single blade. Basically, they would obviously scrape the top layer of the mud, and the actual scraper also had the big mesh, and they could sieve it and sieve all the muck off. Obviously, I think you still have to put them on a sieve for them to wriggle through to get your neat worm. But I thought, what an ingenious way of scraping bloodworm. And apparently, I gather, the Russian and the Polish worm, that's what they do. It saves a lot of time and effort, going through the top. I know you could use it for joker scraping, which obviously, because it's much easier to get the jokers, because jokers live in a stream, a polluted stream, rather than a pond. Again, it's another type of midge fly, which most people use just for feed. But anyway, I thought that was interesting, and I'm surprised nobody's ever marketed them, to be honest. But of course, in the UK now, very rarely do we fish bloodworms, which is, I think we got a big disadvantage these days when we do fish against international teams, in World Championships, European Championships, At the time, I also got a new Marcel van den Einde, he's a Belgian guy, a former world and champion and runner-up. Now, his knowledge of ground bait was really second to none, and at the time, I think possibly the largest ground bait company in the world, even bigger than Census. Now, in his broken English, he told me, that he still worked in his own factory, not far from the venue. In fact, you could smell brasem around him all the time, because I think that must have been one of his favourite mixes, mixing brasem. And anyway, I thought, when I seen him in the evening, we had a little drink, and I was smelling, he was still smelling on him, and I thought, wow, that's a great aftershave, if only he could market it, I thought. But I tell you what, he was a great guy. He gave me his tie as a memento as well. Unfortunately, I've lost that now, which is a shame, but that would have been really great. But, and get to know him and other great anglers, as I said at that time, was a privilege, and the memories really never to be forgotten, But I got to say, Van den Einde, I did actually draw next to him in a match, which I'll talk to you about a bit later. But anyway, after 25 years of fishing for Belgium, unfortunately, in the year 2008, he passed away at age 71. But his ground bait lived on, not so big now, the Belgium ground bait, but as I say, Van der Nine ground bait. But even so, it was a great pleasure to get to know him, and I also learned a few of his tips on ground baiting and mixing and his ingredients, which I used, of course, in my own ground bait sometimes. Yeah, I'll leave a picture of, as I say, Van Schenkel and Marcel van der Nijn on the end, the video. But anyway, coming back to the canal, the Damme Canal was similar looking to the Oxford Canal, but much wider, if that makes sense. It was only about 5 foot deep in most places, and the occasional boat would pass through, and it was lined, the venue was lined with trees, the biggest problem was because it ran parallel with a road, used to get a lot of bicycles, bicycling along riding along the track, and it become a bloody nightmare, shifting back, and on one or two occasions, they'd be the cyclists would come speeding along, and only to cut some of the anglers' poles in half. It was a bloody nightmare. But anyway, nevertheless to say, the match weekend, it was closed off, so they couldn't do it then. But there you are. That was I know we had problems with bicycles on the towpaths over here, but there it was horrendous, because I think it must be their second favourite sport, cycling, I think, in Belgium. But I tell you what, Belgium is a great country. If you look at their records, they're equal to France, Italy, and England. Their records are fabulous. I suppose it's because of all the bloodworm fishing which made them so good, I suppose. Yes, this World Championships for the Welsh team, to be honest, it was a bit of a nightmare for us, because we couldn't get to grips with it, because it was running very clear, and become very, very hard. On a few occasions on our practice, we didn't catch a fish. And it was definitely going to be a bloodworm match. I mean, we tried all the other maggots and casters and all the other type of baits. The main species were bream, skimmer bream, or big bream, I should say, skimmer bream, eyed, which is like an orb type of fish, and that was it, I suppose, And fish in the canal was mainly pole, However, I did try the waggler in practice and caught a few eyeds up in the water, but they were bonus fish, and they were quite large. They were up to 3 kilo in size, and as I said, they were few and far between, but it was definitely a bonus fish to sort of look at. Now, as for myself in both matches, I struggled on both days, to be honest, as did most of the Welsh squad. I think we were way down the list on the first day, and no chance in the second day, because of the point system, which is different then. Obviously, over the 2 days, I suppose the better team will win. And the sections were smaller as well, so say it was completely different to what we've been used to over the last years. But I got to tell you, I did have a chance at one stage on the first day. I switched from a pole to a waggler, and I hooked. I think it must be one of those eyeds, and I lost it halfway across the canal. It was, as I say, it was possibly a 3 kilo, big eyed, massive things, and it would have given me mega points in the section, and as I say, a fish that gets away sometimes, because when you're fishing light and you hook something big, and you only got 10 meters to keep your fish in, it's very difficult. There's a little trick they do, which I learned later the following year, which I'll talk about after, is when you hook a big fish, if you put your rod end under the water, on the waggler, the steward won't know where the fish is going, and sometimes you've got a chance of playing it better, because as I say, if it goes out to your zone, the fish will get disqualified, so anyway, that was it. But I got to tell you, I did feel sorry for a Dutch angler close to me as well, who netted one of those bream. They also had 3 kilo size bream, massive bream, 5 or 6 pound bream. And anyway, after putting it into his keep net, the fish swam through the keep net down through the bottom. How is that possible? Well, anyway, that year, believe it or not, Key Nets from the UK, a keep net company, they had a new design of keep net, and they offered it to all the competitors. And what it was, the actual bottom of the net, you spun it round and you clipped it. So basically, when you release the fish, you could unclip it and just unspin it, and it opens up. So as you can imagine, what happened. This Dutch angler in question forgot to twist or clip the bottom of his net, and of course the bream swam all the way through. You know, there's nothing worse. I don't know which is worse, losing your fish off the hook, or catching it, putting the net and letting it swim through. I don't think that new type of keep net actually took off. You know, I did see a few still around a year later, but I think anglers have got a bit weedy of it. Yeah, so anyway, the one big lesson we learned that year again is the Welsh team really weren't ready for the pole fishing yet. You know, we couldn't compete with the continental teams. You know, England, they were doing well. You know, when it came to bloodworm and joker fishing, they seemed to get it right. You know, now that year, of course, the England team under Dick Clegg management. You know, as I said, Dick Clegg, as soon as he the last few years, he's been tremendous, you know, with all those seconds and then the fourth, then a win, you know. But again, he had his tactics dead right, and they fished a blinder over the 2 days. They actually were joint winners with Italy, you know, on points, but they won because of the weight difference. Of course, the specialist bloodworm team of France, they finished third. I'm not sure where Belgium finished, but because they were one of the favourites. But I can remember, you know, one of the all-time great anglers from France, you know, a true legend again, is Jean-Pierre Fouget. Now he won his second individual title on the venue. One other thing as well, it was Steve Gardner's, I think it was his second match for England. And he came second, so he done tremendously well. You know, Steve's a great angler. It's a shame Steve never won a World Championships, but he's had a couple of placings, and as I said, he was second in that match. And again, another great Italian angler, Milo Colombo, come third, and you know, I think Milo and Steve Gardner, they get on really well, and I think at a later date, Steve Gardner joined Milo in his tackle company. Yeah. I think they're still together now. But it was a great result, as I said, for England. Good result for Stevie Gardner. But Jean-Pierre Fouget, he had what he had. He had 7 kilos, which is quite a big weight. And Stevie Gardner had 5 kilos too, and Colombo had 4 kilos, 290. So, you know, they're reasonable weights, as I said, even though the water condition was very, very clear. On the day, England had 50 points, and Italy had 50 points, and France had 58. So, as I said, it was a great learning curve for us. But like I always said to the boys, you know, not to worry, you know, we got to fish to our strength, I think, to have any chance. And you know, my words came true, because the following year we absolutely fished a blinder. It's a bit of a long story. In 1989, it was on the Paperback Canal in Bulgaria, and my memory serves me right. Yes, we actually took quite a big field of anglers, and I think we had some eliminated matches. Yes, we did. Yeah, I've got something to tell you about that as well. As I said, that was the year that Wales arrived as in the World Championships. Again, you know, not fishing the bloodworm, not fishing the pole, but fishing the tactics that we know. But anyway, more about that on the next side. As I say, this is a short version because there's not much to tell you really about the Welsh team, except that we did learn a lot. Those great anglers, you know, Van der Nijn and Shendel as well. You know, as I say, it was a great learning experience. See you on the next site.